NewJeans is what I'm going to talk about today, specifically the recent MV. I think I should have mentioned in the title or thumbnail that this video is not for K-pop fans, because first of all, if you are, then some of the things that I will say might be the things that you have heard before. I am a bit too late into making this video, since I was busy doing other kind of things. But still, if you want, you could stay and you might discover something new too. Second, my target audience for this video is actually non-K-pop fan, because this MV story is too good to ignore. The story of music videos, not movies, not TV shows. My main focus for this video is to replicate how shocked I was when I was watching the MV story. I will also try to explain the theory that I obtained. But before I start, let me show you the MV that I'm going to talk about. The MV that I'm going to talk about are Ditto Side A, Ditto Side B, and Oh My God. I will also add the bonus MV Attention for the full experience. I myself watch it in a chronological order for the full experience, because if the order is messed up, the viewing experience will not be the same. If you somehow are one of those who are clueless about anything that I'm going to present, I'm offering you a choice. You can either watch those music videos first, then come back, which will only take about 19 minutes, or you can go for the truly blind experience, because I will present to you how I was feeling when I was watching the video. But before some of you go, let me just show you something. Let me ask you a question. Look at these three images. The question is very simple. Which image belongs to which MV? So the answer is, all three images are from the same MV. I will not tell you which one is it, because you would know later on. But just from this alone, it already shows how much of a wild ride we are heading to. How come such visually distinctive backgrounds can be tied together into a cohesive narrative and appear in just one MV? And what's crazier is that the lore behind the MV will somehow have connection with the IMF, International Monetary Fund. So let's not waste any more time and let's begin. Since Attention is a bonus MV, I will only talk about it when it is necessary. Therefore, the first MV that I'm going to talk about is Ditto Side A. I think first it is important to talk about why I did Side A and Side B. The reason for that is because they want to mimic the concept of cassette tape, since cassette tape had two sides. Both Side A and Side B are the same in terms of its music. The only difference is the MV perspective. And there is a really distinct style the MV is aiming for. Just from the first glance, it looks retro, like a VHS tape, and at the same time, it also had this kind of picturesque, beautiful scene. It's like it is in between the look of being recent and Asian. And there are some really idiosyncratic qualities that I can only get from the Ditto's MV. There is a sense of melancholy when everything seems to be perfect and harmonious. You can really get that by listening to their music. Unfortunately, because of copyright reason, I cannot show you the whole thing, but I think I can give you 1 to 2 seconds of the music from the opening of Ditto Side A so that you can see how they set up the tone for the MV. Now I have set the tone for the music video, let's see what's going on with the video itself. Right off the bat, we already have some really interesting questions, like why the first scene is someone opening a box with a close-up of a rabbit, and who is the one that is holding the camera, because NewJeans is a girl group with 5 members, Minji, Hanni, Danielle, Haerin, and Hyein. And most importantly, what's up with her hand? Those questions are interesting, but you will quickly forget about this because there's a clear dynamic at play here. We will later find out that the name of the girl is Heesoo. And the thing is, it is so clear that this would be a love story, and most likely a love story that involves friendship. And throughout the MV, we will have multiple shots of Heesoo vlogging NewJeans and just try to have some fun and conversations as any young schooler would. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It also gives you a sense of nostalgia for people who have already graduated. I mean, look at how happy they look. So, as Heesoo continued to vlog her happy moment with NewJeans, we seems to slowly understand the journey of Heesoo. She is trying to monitor NewJeans through the screen and watch the girl dance and have fun. But there's something more. You can feel they have a really close relationship. She is not just a bystander. She is in many ways the sixth girl in the group. And if we break the fourth wall a bit and engage the story from the actual world, one piece of information should be taken into account, and that is the fact that the oldest member is just 18 years old, and the youngest one is 14, which means in reality, they are still students. What's more, NewJeans itself is a relatively new group. It was a group that got debuted in last August. So, there's a sense of underlying message that is being implied. When Heesoo is happily looking at the girls dancing, it established a close relationship between Heesoo and the girl, with the fact that, in reality, we as an audience see how NewJeans is joyfully growing into maturity. But at the same time, Heesoo watching NewJeans through the screen is also like us watching NewJeans through the screen. But then something happened. Look at this intimate couch scene. They were just sleeping. Then a deer appeared. We saw Heesoo woke up on the same couch as before. The only problem is, NewJeans is nowhere to be found. And slowly, we got all the scenes that we saw previously. It is obvious now, NewJeans was not there all along. And here's where we need to enter into side B. Straight away, we were told everything was imaginary. The boy seemed to notice that as well and was trying to reach out to her. Heesoo seems to enter into this mental state of wanting to let go of her imaginations. She walked along into the rainfall, ignored the girls when they were dancing, and did not answer to Minji's call. She seems to slowly cut ties with NewJeans. With all this unfold, we saw the deer again. At last, we got the first scene from side A. We have come to a full circle. Heesoo somehow decided to watch the VHS tape. It even seems like Heesoo herself aged a lot. Finally, we got a scene where you can't even differentiate what is reality and what is not. To boil down everything to the basic plot, the common belief is the girl Heesoo might have experienced some form of accident. That's why she was having a cast on her hand. In fact, in one of the scenes, they even were words saying, "Don't die on the cast." It's likely that she and NewJeans were in the same accident and hit the deer in the process. Sadly, she was the only survivor. So the boy is worried about the mental state of Heesoo and try to get her out of her trauma. But even after a decade, Heesoo is still reminiscent of her school life with the girls. And on another level, there is another symbolic meaning. The scene of the bunny was chosen as the first scene because the fandom name and image is bunny. And some said that if you repeat Heesoo's name multiple times in Korean, it sounds like bunnies. So Heesoo actually means NewJeans fans. And a side note, it just so happened that this year is also the year of bunny. Anyway, the whole MV also could be interpreted as the fandom watches NewJeans grows, but as time goes on, something might have happened and Heesoo finds something else to be with them. However, in the end, as she grew older, she couldn't help but to look back and wish for NewJeans' existence again. I mean, the name of the song is even called Ditto, which means to repeat something. It can't be much more obvious. Now, let's see what's going on Oh My God. This time, the first scene is again interesting. Like, why are they in psychiatric ward? And why Hanni dresses like Steve Jobs? But luckily, it was clear from the start what is the concept of this MV. Hanni said she was confused and didn't know who is the real her. The answer is clear. In Ditto, the first shot was bunnies, which refers to the fans. This time, the first shot is Hanni being confused by her identity. So, it's about NewJeans, from NewJeans' perspective. So, the answer is
사실 저는 아이폰이었습니다.
okay, that's weird. But she then went on to say she exists for you and she will show you what you want to see and hear. This all clearly a reference to NewJeans' Idol's Life. So she's saying,
그러니까 지금 네가 실이라는 얘기야?
네, 그렇습니다.
okay, it's where that she doubled down on being an iPhone. But overall, the message is clear. Oh My God is about NewJeans' identities and how, in order to maintain your true identities, you become more like a mental patient. For example, Hanni thinks that she is an iPhone, Haerin thinks she is a cat, Hyein thinks that she is living in a fairy tale and somehow get killed or attacked by a bear. Danielle is also in the fairy tale story, trying to save Hyein from the bear of 𝙉𝙚𝙬𝙑𝙑 and oddly laughing at the TV. Minji, she seems to be fine at first until we saw her other self. The reality of who is fine and who is not becomes hard to notice. This is a reflection on being a public figure. Managing yourself and presenting yourself is something that is hard to do. The best example is Haerin, who thinks that she is a cat. She was chosen to be a cat because in reality, she has always been praised to look like a cat for having beautiful cat eyes. And this image is so widespread that even in her own MV, she was turned into a cat, blurring the line of her own self-image. It can serve as a reminder of how parasocial relationship is not as one-sided as we think. I think the interview with the director said the best. These members are still teenagers with free thoughts. But what if they gradually lose their image through people's evaluation and misunderstanding? What if they limit how they express themselves as artists or human beings in the future? And I think there's no better way to let the audience feel the same sense of losing yourself with your own image than having an MV story about mental health patient, because it challenged the notions of what is real and what is imaginary. Wait, what are they doing in the background? Oh no, it's all connected. Okay, now we enter into the next part, which I call plot thicken. Remember the part where Hanni doubled down on being an iPhone? I think that scene opens an invitation for us to interpret the meaning of what is your real image and what is reality from the law perspective. We no longer need to separate the meaning from the story, because even the basic story itself embodies the notions of fragmented reality. The story of NewJeans' MV is also struggling to maintain its own self. There is no better way to illustrate this than the conversation that Danielle had. She was claiming that they are actually shooting a music video. She even confronted the crew members. And this guy here is actually the director of Oh My God and Ditto. And in case of this fourth wall breaking is not good enough, they decided to double down. Remember this at the start of the video. I didn't add this part. This is what happened in the MV.
아니 우리는 뉴진스라니까?
자 이제 그만. 오늘은 이만하고 각자 병실로 돌아갈게요.
And that's the reason why I said attention is the bonus video that you should watch. Because Oh My God literally pull out the old music video, change it, and insert it into this story to expand the lore and break the fourth wall even harder. And yet, after all this, they did it again, triple down and claiming that no, what you thought is reality is actually fake. NewJeans being the mental patient is somehow the real image. And I haven't even touched up on other things. For example, there is a doctor at the start, but in the middle of the MV, he was sitting on the positions that the bear was on. Some thought that this teddy bear is the same bear that possibly killed or attacked Hyein, which prompts some to theorize, the bear is actually the doctor. Plus, the doctor might not even be a doctor. He seems to lose his sanity too. Then, some also said, this actually is Heesoo, because she is holding the bunny door. The fact that two Minji were dancing is also confusing. There is also one that no one talks about. At least I couldn't find one. What is Danielle looking at? And why is she laughing? If you could realize the film crew, then does that mean she actually is not looking at a blank screen? And I don't know why no one is talking about this, but if Ditto and Oh My God are connected, then what was Danielle looking at in Ditto? And here is where we need to even dive deeper to further blur the lines between fictions and reality. There's this odd scene in Ditto where it seems like NewJeans is waiting for someone, waiting an extra member to dance with them. And if you have only seen the MV that I have mentioned, then throughout this video, you might have seen some clips that were a bit weird. It's still NewJeans, but those clips didn't appear in the MV. And that includes the footage that you are seeing right now. This footage was taken by none other than Heesoo herself. Started from 22nd of December, she had uploaded videos every single day up until February. And by using Heesoo videos, we actually got to know some additional information. For instance, there is a foreshadowing scene in Oh My God where it was implied that it is connected to Ditto, because Hanni was trying to reach out to Heesoo, but she failed. This was explained by Heesoo because she gave Hanni the wrong phone number. There is also another video with the descriptions saying that Hyein is so obsessed with being a princess nowadays, hence her fairy tale obsessions in Oh My God. But Heesoo doesn't exist just to supply extra lore behind. In her uploads, she frequently talked about her experience being with NewJeans, as if she really was there as a real human being. And it's not just that. In her uploads, the title of the video are weird. It starts with 1998, then 1999. The number behind are always the same as the upload date. It's just that the year is different. It's not 2022 and 2023. It's like she was someone from the past. In fact, Heesoo was so real that on 13th of January, she would upload a video with the descriptions of "Let's overcome IMF, Korea running again," a real-life reference to the economic struggle that Korea did have in the 90s. So I didn't lie, the MV did have some connections with the IMF. Now, do you know what I mean when I say Heesoo is not here just to give us extra lore? She was really much like a student from the 90s. But why 1998 and 1999? Is it because 24 years ago, it also happened to be the years of bunnies? Is that the reason? But as if everything is not complicated enough yet, they decided to make things even weirder. Let me ask you a really simple question. Is there iPhone in the 90s? I hope you will have answered no. Then, why is there iPhone in Oh My God if Ditto's and Oh My God are connected? What timeline is Heesoo living in? On 7th of January, we will have gotten our answer. On that day, the title would turn out to be 2023. Heesoo is jumping in between timelines, making the notions of understanding what is real and what is not even more complicated. I haven't even mentioned the Hanni theory. In this theory, Hanni knows what is going on, or she was unlike other members and could be potentially the only real character. Because in Ditto, the camera always glitched on her face. What's more, she was the only one wearing the same clothes as Heesoo, and her gaze is always different from others, looking directly at you. If I include this, then everything would be too complicated. Basically, Minji seems to be the normal one, but she is not. In reality, Danielle is the one who noticed everything, yet Hanni might secretly be the only real one out there. Now, with all this complicated theory and suggestion, do you finally understand the quote when the director says, "What if they gradually lose their image through people's evaluation and misunderstanding?" It's easy to lose hold of your image with the sense of time. For example, if I put up this image of the first pyramid in Egypt and the image of Cleopatra, you would think that they match in the same period. But in reality, they are 2,500 years apart, making Cleopatra closer to us than the first pyramid in Egypt. So now, imagine people in the future randomly click on one of the videos from Heesoo. He or she would think member of NewJeans really are schoolgirl from the 90s because of a simple misunderstanding. And it's easy for people now to figure out the validity of Heesoo and realize she is fictional. But the thing is, we all know that Haerin is not a cat, and she will never be a cat, but it doesn't stop her from adopting the aesthetic of a cat. The social reality of Haerin being a cat will forever be part of her image. The complicated, convoluted, and open-ended story of NewJeans MV challenge you with the idea of what is real in the story so that you will understand the struggle of the artist, especially young artists, on maintaining their real image. And now comes to the final part. I want to give out some of my insight. When I was trying to understand NewJeans stories, one piece of artwork always comes to my mind. They look like this. Some might be technology of the past, but the cracks and damages on the items make them look like things that were created 100 years ago and are now being rediscovered. I guess why I would form an association between NewJeans and the artwork is because, first, there's this heavy theme of nostalgia when you're watching Ditto, and it doesn't help that the channel of Heesoo literally jump across time. Second, NewJeans plays heavily with the concept of Y2K. Y2K can be regarded as a trend that brings the technology, style, and habit of the people before the turns of 21 centuries. I will not discuss whether this is a good thing or bad things here, with concepts like ontologies or whatever. That's not the point of this video. What I want to emphasize is that both the art pieces and NewJeans incorporate time as part of their artistic element. And because of that, I want to use this opportunity to talk about another form of interpretation that I think is interesting. It is this last scene from Oh My God, where someone who seems to be a hater wrote, "Am I the only one uncomfortable with the music video's material? They show the face and dance." I'm not hating on the music videos, but there are some element of truth here for the last part. Why don't they just show the face and dance? All this time, I have said all these kind of fan theories and seen different comments on what the MV means. But there's this one thing I didn't mention, and no one was focusing on it, which is the lyrics of the song. Ultimately, the very basic story of Ditto and Oh My God is about a girl who falls in love. The first lyrics of Oh My God is literally, "The song is about you, baby." So why can't NewJeans just show the face and dance with this simple concept? It shouldn't be that complicated where different timelines are involved. From my interpretations, I think there's a reason. By the way, I'm pulling the offer instead interpretations on this one, because you can interpret it how you want. But for me, the lyrics of Oh My God cannot be any more obvious. It is a story about breakups. I had this idea because of the lyrics. I was really hoping that he will come through. Once I heard this, every lyrics in the song changed. Why use the word "I was hoping" and "he will"? It sounds like she has given up, and he, in the end, did not come through. If this is a failed relationship, a lot of the lyrics in Oh My God would make sense, and it explains the behavior of Heesoo both in Ditto and Oh My God. For example, in Oh My God, they kept on asking me, "Who is he?" This line got repeated multiple times. If you are having a healthy relationship, why would it seem like the relationship is so secretive? And don't "he is the one living in my system" sound like he now exists in her mind and in her mind only. And from the other lyrics, no, I can never let him go. I only think of you 24. I am a lucky girl. Before I met you, everything was pointless. Can you sense the amount of hope that she was putting on the guy? You can see how her emotion can be easily swayed by him. And there's no sign of stopping. All filled up, my heart is glowing. It be glowing. This all led up to her saying, oh my god, I knew this would happen. I was really hoping that he would come through. She knew what would happen. It's like she deep down knows that the relationship is unhealthy. And the lyrics of, I'm going crazy, I hear his voice through all the noise. It totally can be seen as an implication of she can't mentally handle the breakup. And she is slowly but surely becoming crazier and crazier. Now, why that is important? Because the lyrics of Ditto is also about love. It's about someone waiting for a reply. And who is that someone? In my mind, it could be none other than NewJeans. Just look at the lyrics. Not that I know everything. It's a reference to the lyrics of Oh My God. NewJeans is the one kept asking, who is he? And in Oh My God, the lyric said, I hear his voice through all the noise. The noise is referencing NewJeans. That's why Heesoo said, it's okay to be alone because I love someone. She was alone because she saw the word and advice from NewJeans as noise. Heesoo had chosen the boy over NewJeans, and yet in the end, the relationship didn't work out. Can't you see when it said, don't die on the cast? It's a warning to Heesoo getting crazier and crazier, and most importantly, don't let the ideas of NewJeans die. Because NewJeans don't just want anybody, they imagine you with the feeling that's been always there. They have been waiting all this time. NewJeans, after all this year, are still in the box, waiting for you to rediscover them. They have been waiting through all the school years, all your heartbreaks, and all your trauma. But they don't want to stay in the middle between you and the boy. They don't want to just be in the maze anymore. They don't want to stay in the maze because they can't wait till the morning. Another morning when you finally decide to reopen the box. Ultimately, Ditto on a visual level is a story from Heesoo's perspective, but the song itself is a story told by NewJeans. And Oh My God on a visual level is a story from NewJeans' perspective, but the song itself is a story that is told by Heesoo herself. And do you now understand the meaning of the box? All this concept of jumping back and forth in time, holding a VHS camera in a world which iPhone exists, it's just like the Y2K concept that NewJeans embody. NewJeans would be something that is timeless, living in our memory, waiting in the corner of the world for you to rediscover. NewJeans will always be there. That's why we finally saw the last scene of Ditto Side B. Heesoo came back from a failed relationship after all these years. And the only thing that hasn't changed is NewJeans and the happy memory that she had with them. I mean, the meaning can't be any more obvious. VHS footage in 2023, cassette tape concept in 2023, all these ideas could be literally summed up by 5 letters. Ditto, where the literal definition is to do the same things again. Open the old box that you had. What's left for you to do now is just say it. Say it back. Or say it Ditto. And oh my god, if this is true, I really love this message. So that's the end of the video. I'm not sure what to add on the end of this video, so remember to like, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And bye.